Hi everyone, good morning. Salesforce Admin Training Day 16. Now, before starting our session today, few updates for online and offline about the daily schedule. Whatever we have a daily schedule for everyone online and offline. So we have prepared a timeline. So this is a daily schedule. The daily schedule is live session will be conducted 8 to 10 a.m. Sharp 10 a.m. I'll be ending the session, or before the 10 a.m., 10 minutes before also I can end the session. Right, so there will be a break from 10 to 10:30. 10 to 10:30 is a break. Then from 11 o'clock to till 1 o'clock, you have to complete the homework or a watch video, recorded video. Complete the homework or a watch recorded video. Make sure you got the clarity on the every topic that whatever we have discussed in the live session. Then 1 to 2 will have a lunch break. 1 to 2 will have a lunch break. And 2 o'clock to 2:30, there is a revision test. The revision test. So basically, whatever you have learned in the class, everything you have to recollect and write that. And then we'll have a 2:30 to 4 o'clock quiz test. 2:30 to 4 o'clock quiz test. Then we'll have a break from 4 to 4:20. Break is 20 minutes break, tea break. So 4 to 4:20 p.m. Then 4:20 p.m. onwards till 5 o'clock, it's a group discussion. Whatever we have learned today, so as a group, you will be discussing it. So this is a group discussion. And then 5 to 5:30, we'll have a mock interview. 5 to 5:30, we'll have a mock interview. And then daily stand-up 5:30 to 6 p.m. Daily stand-up 5:30 to 6 p.m. So what has been done today? Right, so is there any blockers or anything from the today's session? Any questions? Everything will be covered in the daily stand-up. Then also we have a one more live session from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. This is another batch which we are starting. And then Sunday we have a activities. So Sunday will be a grand test, presentation, debates. So these are the different activities we will have. Apart from this, we can plan few more activities. Sunday will be the full activities that are involved. So everybody has to participate in these activities. Any questions on the daily schedule? Offline, online, this is for everybody. Okay. So this has to be followed strictly. So this time is completely you have to dedicate it for the institute till you complete the course. Now let's move on to our topic today. So let's start today. What are we going to learn? So we are going to learn overview of the previous session. We'll talk about the few more data types. So yesterday we have seen half of the database data types, and today we will see few of the data types URL, and then email data type, and then we'll see the pick list, and then we'll see the pick list multi-select, and geolocation. We have a geolocation data type, and then phone data type. Then after that, we'll see one of the use case, the requirement, how it is there in the real time. And then we'll have a homework, today's interview questions, trial headlinks. Now, what did we learn in the last class? What did we learn in the last class? In the last class, we have started the fields. In the fields, it is divided into two types. One is a standard fields, and second one is a custom field. Custom fields. Standard fields are nothing but provided by Salesforce. This is provided by Salesforce. Cannot be edited, cannot be deleted. Basically, cannot be deleted these fields. Now, next one is a custom field. Custom fields are created by admin or a developer. Sometimes Salesforce also provides the custom fields. Right, whenever the org is created, by default, Salesforce is also giving them custom fields. These fields can be deleted, can be deleted, can be deleted and modified, can be deleted and modified, can be deleted or modified. Now, if you want to create a custom field, now if I want to create a custom field, there are different data types are available. There are different data types are available. So whenever I'm creating the field, I should know that what type of data I'm creating it. What type of data are we creating it? Because why we need a what type of data is required? Because whenever we are storing the value, whenever we are storing the value in this, if I'm storing the value in this field, what kind of a data I'm storing it? Could be a number data, could be a number data, number, or could be a alpha characters. What kind of a data I'm storing it is decided by the data type. So if I take a data type as a text, then I can store it in the text alphanumeric, right? So basically what kind of a data should be held by this field is decided by the data type. In the database.com, if I want to store the certain data, first we need to tell the system this field is related to this data type. So this field is text field. This field is checkbox field. So only related to data which is related to that type of that data type. For example, if it is a checkbox data type, then I can store only true or false. I cannot store any other thing. If I'm trying to store, it is going to give me the error because the field is expecting only the true or false. Why it is expecting only true or false? Because the data type is a checkbox. Data type is a checkbox. We cannot store apart from any other details. We cannot store any other details. No. So yesterday we have seen different type of data. So there are total 18 data types are available. Total 18 data types are available. So yesterday we have seen text. Text is nothing but where you can store alphanumeric data. Alphanumeric data. Alphanumeric data and the limit is 255. Limit is 255. So I can store alphanumeric data. Basically, I can store the character or I can store the characters, alphabet or numbers. I can store it and maximum is 255. By default, it will not. Whenever we click on a text data type, by default, it will not show anything. It will not show anything. Now, the next one is we have seen is text area. Next one we have seen the text area. Now, before going to the text area, in the text data type, okay, first we will see the data types. After text data type, we have seen the text area. Text area data type. Text area data type. Text area data type is also an alphanumeric. It is also alphanumeric. This is also alphanumeric. It is also 255 limit, but when you are storing the data, right? So here in the text, it will be a single line it is going to show. In text area, it is going to show you the multiple lines. It is going to show you the multiple lines. Now that is the text area. Then we have seen text area long. Then we have seen text area long. Text area long. Text area long is, it is also alphanumeric and the character limit is 1,31,072. So these many characters of data, I can store it, right? I can store it. So this is a text area long. So whereas another one which we have is, the fourth one is text area rich. Text area rich. Text area rich is, this is also the character limit is 1,31,072 characters. Right, but the here is in the text area rich is basically you can modify, you can add the, basically it has a additional options which we can do it here, like a font, I can change the font, I can apply a style, I can apply a size, and I can apply color, alignment, images, everything I can place it. Everything I can place is images, pictures, whatever is there, right? So everything I can place it. This is the text area rich, right? And after that, we have seen text area encrypted. Next one, which we have seen, text area encrypted. Encrypted. Now here, encrypted is basically whatever the data you are entering it, whatever the data you are entering it, now do you want to encrypt that particular one? Do you want to encrypt it? So basically it has a kind of a data which is related to the HIPAA, or if you are giving the credit card details, right? So in that case, if you want to encrypt, so basically the example for this is, if you want, what are the data you are entering, everything will be masked as a star. Or else if you are entering the credit card number, everything will be, except the last 4 digits, everything will be masked as a star. Now you can choose it whether you want a star or you want a X, you can choose that, that option is available. This is the text area encrypted. And the next one which we have seen is checkbox. Next one we have seen checkbox. So checkbox is where it is accept only true or false, where it will accept only true or false. So inside this, either you can store it as a checkbox true or you can store it as a checkbox false. By default, you can choose it, which are the one you wanted. You can choose the by default one. And next one we have seen date data type. So date data type is only going to store the date. You can select the date from the calendar. So there is a calendar option is available right side of the field. So right side of the field, there is a calendar option is available. Now this is the field. In this field, here you will have some kind of a calendar icon. So if you click on this icon, so what will happen is it is going to show you the month similar to the what are the calendar is available. Same thing, it is going to display the data here. Now, if you click on that, by selecting that, you can choose the date, only date you can choose it. And the next one we have seen time. Next one we have seen time data type, time data type. So this is specifically time format. So format will be a 12 hours format or a 24 hours format. 12 hours is nothing but it's like we are going to say 9 a.m. or a 4 p.m. Right? This is the 12 format, 12 hours format. If it is a 24 hours, then we will say that 9 a.m. this will be same. And then after 12 o'clock, if it is a 2:30, then we will say it 14:30, which is nothing but a 2:30 p.m. which is nothing but a 2:30 p.m. or else 18 is nothing but 6 p.m. 6 p.m. So like this, you will be selecting the time data type. Next one is date time data type. Next one is date time data type. So date time data type is basically if you want to select date as well as a time. So it is a date time stamp, date time stamp. So you can select it from the calendar or whatever if you want to enter the details, you can enter the details, right? So these options you can see. And the next one which we have seen is number data type. Number data type. Number data type. Number data type is nothing but where you can add some numbers like could be a 32, right? Or could be a 12 or could be a, also you can add a decimal digits like a 5.6. So inside this number field, add the numeric values or decimal digits. You can add anything here. Decimal digits. Decimal digits is nothing but 5.6, right? 6.7. What are the decimal digits are there? You can add the decimal digits. Now, after that, we have seen the percentage. Next one, we have seen percentage. Percentage data type. Percentage data type is nothing but where it is also having a numeric values as well as the decimal digits. It is also having the numeric values and the decimal digits. But after entering the data, it has a postfix. There is a something postfix will be added to the number, which is called as a percentage character gets added as a postfix. Percentage character is added as a postfix. What are the value you add it into the percentage? For example, you add a 10. So immediately once you click on a save button, it is going to go for a 10%. When you add a 9, it is go for a 9%. So whatever the value you add, like a 5.6%, right? So everything will be gets added into the postfix as a percentage in the percentage data type. And the next one we have seen, the last one which we have seen is currency. Next one we have seen currency data type. So currency data type is where it is similar to the salary. That means you can store the values. That means you can store the currency values along with the decimal digits. It will also have a decimal digits along with the decimal digits. Now, for example, it's like if you enter 20,000, then what will happen if you enter 20,000? automatically it will be converted as a prefix with, there is a prefix, it is added as a dollar. Dollar 20,000. If your currency is a dollar USD, then it will add a dollar 20,000. If it is a, your currency is India, then it will add as a rupees. It will add as a rupees, Indian rupees. If it is a dirhams, then it is, if it is a Dubai, then it is going to add something like a AED, and then it is going to say that 20,000. Right, so based on the country, based on your company information currency, what are the currency is there in the company information, based on the org setup, based on the org setup, it is going to add that particular currency to the value, whatever the currency you have added. For that, it is going to add a prefix with a symbol of the, whatever the symbol you have selected in the company information. That's the same symbol will be added here. And then that's not. Right, so these are the 12 data types we have seen. These are the 12 data types we have seen. Today we are going to see few more data types. Then we will go for the requirement. Now here, for example, let's go ahead. The first one is a URL. The first one is URL. Now URL, as it says URL, it is a basically to use add the hyperlinks. This data type allows us to store the website name or a path of the application URL inside the field. So for example, I have a field here. I have a field. Let's suppose website. So this website is basically, it's a data type is URL. Data type is URL. Now what I'll be entering here, https:/Salesforce, right? Salesforce.com or www.salesforce.com. Whatever the link is available. Whatever the link is available, based on that. Right, whatever the link is available or a path is available or any URL, I can enter those URLs inside this data type. So basically it is a website name, right? Website name is presented as a hyperlink, right? So when you click on this link, it will be redirected to the specific website. So basically URL is nothing but application URL or a path or a website, or it could be some website link, right? And whenever you click on that particular URL, it is shown as a hyperlink. So whenever you click on a particular icon, that link, what will happen is it is going to redirect into the another page, or it will redirect it to the specific website based on the URL that is mentioned in the website. Now, where can I see this information right now in the Salesforce? In the Salesforce, if you go to the opportunity, object. In the opportunity object, just click on this, any of the opportunity. And when you click on this opportunity, here you will have something called website. So website, it's not available in the opportunity. Maybe it is on the account. So let me go to the account. So let's go to the account, click on the details. So here is the website. So where I'll be entering https://www.salesforce.com. Salesforce.com. Now click on the save. Once you click on save, this is display as a hyperlink format. This will display as a hyperlink format. So when you click on this, it will be redirected to the Salesforce page. It will be redirected to the Salesforce page. So the display as a hyperlink. This will display as a hyperlink. Now just observe this. Which are the field you are creating it? Whether you are creating yesterday whatever we have discussed, or today the URL whatever I have discussed. If you observe this, there are some common properties. Common properties are there. What are those common properties? Field label is common. Field label is common. Which are the data type you take it? You have to enter the field label name, and then you have to enter the field name. Whatever the field name is available, you have to enter the field name. Then you need to enter the description. Description is also common field. Help text. Help text is also common field. Help text is also common field. And then few other fields are there, like a required checkbox, right? Required. Is this a field is required or not? Is this a field required or not? So required checkbox, right? And also you will see default value if you want to add any default value. So that default value. And one more option you will see is auto add to custom reports. To custom reports. These properties are common. Maximum it might change. It might change last one based on the field, but most of the fields will have this kind of a properties. Most of the field data types will have this kind of a properties. If you take any data type, field label is common, field name is common, description is a common, help text is a common, right? So similarly, required checkbox, you might see the required checkbox, you might see the default value, you might see the auto add to custom report. So these properties are common for most of the data types. For most of the data types, these properties are common. Now let's go ahead and see for the URL, what are the data types, what are the properties which are available for the URL. So for URL, field label is the property and field name is also there, and description, help text, required checkbox, auto add to custom report type, default value. Now, whatever we have discussed so far, those all properties are available within the URL also. These all properties are available within the URL also. So that means most of the data, whatever the data type you take it, whatever the data type you take it, these properties are common. Whatever the 7 properties are there, maximum 7 or 6 properties can be common. Most of the data type will have these properties. If you go for any data type, it will be common. This is the URL data type. This is URL data type. Next one is email data type. Next one is email data type. Now, email data type, as the name says here, email, this data type allows us to store the email address value inside the field. Inside the field. Now, is everybody taking the notes? Okay. So here email is this data type allow us to store the email address value. Email address value inside the field. Inside the field. So whenever you wanted to collect employee details, whenever you wanted to collect employee email details, are better use the data type called email in order to collect the email address value. Now in this data type, it will basically store only the email address value inside this field. Now it contains inbuilt validation. Email data type. Whenever you go for an email data type, Salesforce itself before providing to us email data type, Salesforce has implemented some validations, right? Those are inbuilt validation to verify the email address or the email is whatever the user has entered the email, is that the format is correct or not. If the format is correct, then only it is going to store it. That is the inbuilt validation which is on exist within the email address. Otherwise, what it will do, in case if you do not enter the valid email address, it is going to throw an error message. It is going to throw an error message. Now, what is the data type? Here we have a data type, right? Email. So what it says, allow user to enter an email address which is validated to ensure proper format if this field is specified for a contact or a lead. Right? Users can choose the address when clicking the send or email. So that means whatever the user has entered the email, when you click on a save or a send button, it is going to cross verify the validation that is built inside of this particular data type. Now, if that is qualified, if there are no issues, then only it is going to go for saving the record. Otherwise, it is going to throw an error message. Now, what are the properties are available? Properties are field label, field name, description, help text, required checkbox, unique checkbox, and then we'll have something called external ID. This I have discussed yesterday. External ID is nothing but I wanted to store another object 18-digit ID within this external ID so that I can refer that. Now, auto add to custom report type. Auto add to custom report type, and then we have a default value. Whatever the default value is there, it is available the default value. And this is the email. So email will also have a auto add to custom report type, default value, external ID, unique checkbox. Unique is nothing but this particular, every record should have a unique email address. Every record should have a unique email address. Like whenever you are applying the passport or whenever you are applying a resume in Accenture, right? Whenever you are applying a resume in Accenture or a Dell, or Wipro, big MNC companies. Now what they will do is they will take your email address. Whatever the email address is there, they will take the email address with that name only, with that email address, they will upload the resume. Now, next time when you are uploading the same resume again, it will say that this is a duplicate with the same email ID. And if it is a different resume also, if you are trying to upload with the same email address is same next time, but the resume is different. So what it will say that duplicate record form cannot insert. Duplicate record form because this email address is already exist in the system. So what they will suggest is they will suggest you to provide another email address to upload the different resume, right? So email address should be unique in the Salesforce also. Whenever any record is created, the record should be created with their email address, or if there is already record is available, they should give us the different email address. So every record should have a unique email address. Let's move on. Picklist. Picklist is basically, now picklist is nothing but this is to control the select only the element of the collection element. Basically, picklists are used whenever you have so many input data. So many input data is available. When you have so much of input data, Now, out of this so much of input data, few records might need one, few records might need all, few records might need only few of them, right? So you need to select what is the related one. What is the related one? Let's take an example of country. Let's take an example of country. Now, country, in the country, we have a different values are available. Let me open Paint. So, for example, I have a Picklist field. Now, here I have a Picklist field. Here I have a Picklist field. This is called available values. Available, or let's say that these are the Picklist values. Picklist values. Now, in this Picklist values, this is a country Picklist. Assume that this is a country. So I have a country, India, right? US, UK, Germany, right? Dubai, right? Then we have a Singapore. Like this, there are different countries are available. Like this, there are different countries are available. Now, this is a country field. This is a country Picklist field. Now, whenever we are selecting it, one record, and in the, for example, let's take an example of account. Let's take an example of account or a lead. Let's take an example of lead. Now, this is the lead. That means I am getting the leads from the different places all over universal, right? In the world, I'm getting the different leads. In the world, I'm getting the different leads. When I get a different lead, one lead might be Indian. One lead might be India. One lead, I'm getting it from the US. One lead, I'm getting it from the UK. One lead, I'm getting it from the Germany. Like this, I'm keep on getting the leads for the each country. Now, at the end, if I wanted to know that from the India, how many leads are created? From the Germany, how many leads are created? From the US, how many leads are created? Right? In that case, this pick list is going to help us to filter out. This pick list is going to help us to filter out how many leads we have received it. Now, how will I know that whenever the lead is created, there is a pick list field called country. There is a pick list field called country. Now, in this pick list field, if the lead is created manually, let's assume that lead is created manually here. Whenever it is created manually, so what they will do is they need to choose the drop down value. Whatever the drop down option is available, the drop down value, they have to choose it. When they choose the drop down value, there is a drop down list gets open. There is a drop down list gets open. When the drop down list gets open, now you can see all these values, whatever the pick list values are there, it will be visible here. It will be visible here. Whatever the values are there, all the values will be visible here. Right? So all the values, in case if it is screen is less. So what will happen is it will display whatever it is going to fit, it will display, and then it will add a scroll bar here. There will be a scroll bar. In this scroll bar, you need to click on it, scrolling the down. So you need to click on scroll bar to going the down. So as you are moving down, you will see rest other pick list fields also will be visible here. Pick list fields will be visible here. right? So this is the option. Like this, it will show on the lead level. Like this, these are the options will be shown in the lead level. Right. So from this drop down, user can select the value, and that value will be chosen from the pick list field, and it is going to display it here. It is going to display the data here. For example, if the lead is created from the India, it will create a India. It will select, they will select it as a here India. They will select Indian. Right? If it is a US, they will select the US. So as soon as US is selected, it will be replaced with US. The value will be shown, selected as US here. Now this is how the pick list fields are there. That means pick list fields are to identify if you have a multiple input leads or multiple options are available. You have a multiple options are available or a collection of elements which are available. Whenever you have a collection of elements, now from that collection of elements, you can choose only single element. You can choose only one. You cannot choose multiple here. For that, there is a different option is there. Now you can choose only single option. You can choose only single option. Now it controls us to select only one element from the collection of elements.
Uncle, అక్కడ ఉన్నారుగా వస్తుంటారు.
It is not a radio button. It is not a radio button. It's a different thing. Not the valid one. It's not a valid one. Now you are going for the flight booking. Okay, let's go for a flight booking. Now here, when you go for a flight booking, you did not select it. So let's go for a one flight booking. So whenever you are going for a flight booking, right? So what you are selecting here? Let's assume that I'm choosing this flight. Let's say go for book now. Now here you have to give certain information, right? You have to give certain information. Right. Here the country code. Country code. What is these options? These are a pick list, and here is a scroll bar. Now, if I keep on scroll down, this particular one, I can see all the country codes. I can see all the country codes. Now, based on the country, if it is a India, I'll select a India. If it is a some different place, I'm from different place. In that case, I'll select a different. For example, I'm from let's take an example of Singapore. In that case, I'll select a Singapore. Then I'll enter the Singapore related mobile number and the email. So this, whatever you see here is called as a country code. This is called as a pick list. This is called as a pick list. Now what you are doing here, you are selecting the value. You are selecting the value from the drop down. Now, what are the related mobile number you have? What are the related mobile number you have? Because if there is something wrong, these people is going to call you. These people is going to call you. So you need to give a valid number. What is that valid number? How can you choose that? So you can select it from the pick list, choose any valid number here, and then you can enter the mobile number. You can enter the mobile number. So this is called as a pick list. Is everybody clear? Pick list. Vishnuvardhan. No. Let's move on. So basically, upon populating the element, delivers can set the default value, right? So this pick list also has a properties. Pick list also has the properties. Now properties are same field label, field name, description, help text. These are common. These are common. Field label, field name, field description, help text. These are common. Now there is another one which we have for the pick list. It is going to ask you the values. Enter the values. That means enter the values manually. Now, in the same scenario, whatever the scenario that we have taken here, right? So the country is a common, whether you go for a lead opportunity, whether you go for an account opportunity, right? Whether you go for a contact, whether you go for an opportunity, right? Whether you go for a vehicle object, whatever object you are going for, lead object, right? Products, where are you selling the products? Everything has a country, right? Everything has a country specific selling the product, country specific selling the product. That means almost whenever I'm creating a account, I need a country, right? When I create a contact, I need a country because whenever the record is created for the user, I need to specify this contact is from where. Opportunity, how did we hear the opportunity? From which country? I need to know. Vehicle, there is a vehicle details that are like it is a India, we have a vehicle selling in India, vehicle selling in the US, which one they are buying it, India vehicle or a US vehicle or a Australia vehicle, which vehicle they are buying it. Now next one is a lead. Leads are coming from where? Product. Where is this product? Almost every object needs a country field. Almost every object needs a country field. If I need a country field for every object, if I need a country field, then I need to create a country field in account, in contact, right? I need to create a new field in the contact as a country. In the opportunity also, I need a country, right? In the vehicle also, I need a country. In the lead also, I need a country. Opportunity also, I need a country field. So here we have a 6 objects are there. For 6 objects, I'm creating the country field 6 times. I'm creating it. 6 times I'm creating the country field. And all the 6 times whatever I am using is all the pick list values are same. That means if I have a six objects here, I'm creating the 6 times the country field is created. If I have a 20 objects, I'll be creating the 20 times the country field. I'll be creating it in the org. I'll be creating the 20 times in the org. Instead of creating the multiple times, instead of creating like that means instead of entering the India, US, UK, Germany, 6 times or 20 times you are entering these pick list values, right? So what you can do is instead of entering this pick list values, I can move these pick list values into the one common area. I can move these pick list values into the one common area. I can move these pick list values into the one common area. That means push that whatever these values are there, whatever these values we have it, push these values into common area. Now this common area is called as a global pick list. This common area is called as a global pick list. Global pick list. This common area is called global pick list. Now this global pick list has all the values whatever you want. Now you have here 7 or 6 pick list values are there, you can remember. But in real time, there are more than 20 pick list values are there. Now, when you are having a 20 pick list values, and if you have to create that country field in 20 objects, then you need to remember the 20 times adding the values, like every time you are adding the value there. So 20 into 20, around 400 times you are adding the pick list values. Instead of adding the pick list values every time, move that values into one common place. Move that value into one common place. And that common place is called as a global pick list. Global pick list. Now, whenever you are creating the pick list field on the object, what you can do is either you can select a option called, which is we have a use a global pick list. Use a global pick list. That means it is when you choose it, use a global pick list, it is automatically bring the values that are exist in the global pick list. It will bring and push it to the this pick list. You need not to add multiple times the values, right? Or no, if you are creating only one object, the pick list field you are creating it, then you can go for enter values manually. Then you can go for enter values manually. Enter values manually. Now we have not covered the multi-pick list yet. Now here, enter the values manually. Now pick list is basically you can choose only one value, You cannot choose the multiple values, which I already covered. And the example in the flight ticket, whenever you have selected the country. So can you select the multiple pick list? No, right? You cannot select the multiple pick list values. So here you can select only single pick list field, right? In the flight booking, you cannot select a Singapore as well as a Dubai, right? You cannot select it both of them together. You cannot select both of them together. You cannot select both of them together. You can select either Singapore or UAE, right? So is it possible to select a multi-pick list? No, it is not possible to select a multi-pick list. Now here, instead of entering the values multiple times, you have to push that values into the common area. So those values will be here. Now while creating the pick list, what you can do is you can choose the global pick list values. So when you choose a global pick list values, the values will be automatically shifted from the common area to the your pick list. You need not to enter the values again. Now enter values manually. Now you can either instead of taking it from, you can also take it, you can enter the values. If you are creating the pick list only for one object, then what you can do is you can select, you can enter the values here in the while creating the pick list. While creating the pick list, you can create a values. You can enter the values. Now, this is the values. The next one which we have a arrange the element in ascending order. Arrange, one of the property is called arrange the values in the ascending order. Now, whenever you are creating a pick list field, see here the order of displaying the field, the order of displaying the values. So first it is displaying the India, right? But what I need is basically I need to show all the country names based on the sorting order. I wanted to display based on the sorting order, right? Sorting order. That means I wanted to display the values whenever I'm creating the pick list field. Though I'm entering here in a different order, I'm entering the details here. But whenever I'm storing it in the database or whenever I'm displaying here, basically what I wanted to see here is I do not want in the same format the way I have entered. No, I do not want to see in this format. I wanted to see in the format called first it should be displayed Dubai. First it should be displayed Dubai. Then it should display Germany. Then it should display the India. Right? Then it display the Singapore. Then it display the Singapore. Then it will display the US and UK, UK and US. So like this sorting order, I wanted to display. Sorting order, I wanted to display. Even when it is stored in the database, I wanted to store that as a, I wanted to store them as a sorting order. I wanted to store them as a sorting order. Right, for that we have a, one of the property is called arrange the element in ascending order. Arrange the element in ascending order. That means you can arrange the each value in the ascending order. Now the next one is make the field, make the first value as a default option. Make the first field as a default option. This is another property. This is another property. Now in this property, now whenever we are displaying the data here, by default, what Salesforce does is, it will say that none. It will say by default, the first one is none. By default, the first one is none. That means whenever you are scrolling down here, whenever you are scrolling down, right? So here, first option is displayed as a none. Now, in case if you do not want to see the none here, okay, here also you are able to see the none here. Here also you are able to see the none. The first one is displaying as a none. Now, in case if you do not want, by default, none should be there. Now, if you want by default, as soon as the record is created, if you want, default value should be displayed here. Default value should be displayed here. That means by default, I want the India to be displayed here. Or by default, I want Dubai to be displayed here. In that case, what I can do is there is a one property. There is a one property which is available in the Picklist field is called make the first value as the default option. Make the first value as a default option. Now, another checkbox is restrict the Picklist values based on the value set. Restrict the Picklist field based on the value set. That means now we have these many Picklist values are there. These many Picklist values are there. Now let's assume somebody is creating a lead. Somebody is creating a lead from different state, different country. Now the country is Japan. Now they are creating the lead from the Japan. But this Japan value is not available in the country Picklist. This Japan value is not available in the country Picklist. Now what should we do? Should we allow the lead to be created or should we throw an error? Is decided by the Picklist. Now whenever the Picklist is, whenever the record is created, upon creating the record, if the Picklist field is not available. Now, if you do not want lead to be created, whenever the lead is created out of these countries, whenever the lead is created out of these countries, you do not want to choose any of the Picklist field. That means I'm saying here, restrict the Picklist values based on the value set. That means if there is any Picklist field that gets added, now that value is not available in the Picklist field. Japan is not available. Now, if you are trying to enter here Japan, when you are trying to insert the lead record from the third party system, by mentioning the country is a Japan, it says that should not accept. That means restricted. That means restricted. Do not accept. It is restricted. When you restrict it, that means it will not allow you to create a lead record. So what it is saying that restrict the Picklist values. Whatever the values that are outside of this value set is created, the lead. Now restrict them. Do not create it. If you say this checkbox as a false, then that means that there is no restriction. There is no restriction. The records can be added like a Japan record or any other record, right? Out of these values, if there is any record is created from the different country, then you can choose here. Now the next properties are required checkbox. Required checkbox, whether you want this field to be required or not. Next one is a auto add to custom report type and the default value, if you want any default value. It contains different value. I'm talking about the pick list. I'm not talking about the multi-pick list. I'm not talking about the checkboxes. Right? This is the pick list field. Pick list field. If you want to implement a checkbox in the pick list, then you need to add a values true or false in the pick list field. You need to add a values true or false. Instead of these values, instead of country values, what you need to add a values here, true or false. You need to add true or false. This is also another pick list. You cannot have a check boxes. It is a pick list. Do not get confused between the multi-pick list, checkbox, pick list. Pick list is where you have a drop down. From the drop down, you are choosing the value. Check boxes are nothing but where you have a check boxes. Whether sometimes whenever you are filling the form, whether you are female or not. So that is called as a check box, right? Whether you are married or not, those are called as a check boxes. Check boxes never be a pick list. If you want check boxes to be converted as a pick list, then create that as a separate pick list values true or false. Then you select it from the pick list. Any other questions? We will see the example. Restricted. What is the meaning of restricted? Restricted. What is the meaning of restricted? Not allowed, right? So same example here. Restrict means not allowed. Now, whenever somebody is creating the lead record, the record is not, the value is not available here. If you try to create a lead, the value which is not available, you are saying that I'm not allowing that record. I'm not allowing that record to create it. Simple. Prohibited, yes. So restrict is right. So here basically, sometimes we need to restrict it whenever we are getting a records from the third party system, we need to restrict it because we might receive a junk leads also. Junk leads also, we might get it. Junk leads also, we might get it from the different country. So in that case, if we wanted to avoid, then what we can say is we are going to say that, okay, I'm not going to allow that record because that value is does not exist in pick list value. Clear? Everybody, any questions on this pick list?
Ma'am, as you said, right? I mean, the third party. This is like not by user keying, right? I mean, this is happening from the back end. The third
Yes.
party entries are coming, and those are like going to the lead directly. That is happening in the back end only, right?
Yes. Through the backend or sometimes through the code also we insert a record. When we insert through the code, that time what we will do is we will pass the text value there. So that time also it is a problem.
Okay, I mean, as my assumption, like it is enum data type, like in RDBMs, right?
No.
Similarly, it acts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions on the pick list? Okay, so let's go on. Next one is a Picklist multi-select. Picklist multi-select. Now, so far we have seen the pick list where from the drop down I can choose it, I can select it. This is only one value I can select it. But if I wanted to select a multi-select, I wanted to choose a 2 values. How can I do that? How can I do that? So we have another option, another data type, which is called as a pick list multi-select. There are 2 options on the pick list. One is it says pick list data type. Another option, it says that pick list multi-select. Picklist multi-select is nothing but this basically allows to select multiple elements from the collection of elements. We are going to select multiple elements. You can select multiple elements from the collection of elements. Multiple elements from the collection of elements. Now here I have selected the elements. Whatever the elements that we have selected will get resides inside the column, right? So basically we'll have whatever we have selected it. Let's take an example. Let's take an example for the multi-select. Now multi-select field, how it will display here in the Salesforce is, you will have 2 boxes. So you have 2 boxes here in the multi-select. It's not a drop down. Multi-pick list is not a drop down. Multi-pick list is not a drop down. It is 2 boxes are available where it will say that available values. Available values. And here it says that selected values. Selected values. Selected values. This is a available values. This is a selected values. For example, this field is a hobbies. It says that select your hobbies. Select your hobbies. Now, usually hobbies are multiple. Usually hobbies are multiple. Like a example, it will have a chess. Now it will have a chess or music, right? Reading books or watching movies, right? Outdoor activities, right? So these are the couple of things. These are the couple of hobbies are there, right? Or window shopping, or just say shopping, right? Or a groceries. These are the options which are available. Now, this is the available options. This is in the org. These are the values which are available. These are the values which are available. Now you need to choose these values. You need to choose these values. That means you need to select a one value here. That means you need to choose, for example, I'm choosing the reading books. I'm choosing the reading books. Select that reading books, and then here you have in between these 2 boxes, there is something called arrow marks, which you will see. There is something called arrow marks, which you will see. That means you will see here this is one is a add button, another one is a remove button. One is a remove button. So the first one is a add button and this is a remove button. So these 2 options which are available here. Now here you are selecting a add. And this is bottom one is a remove. Now select this value, choose this value and click on this add button. Click on this add button. So what will happen? Whatever this reading book option is available, it will delete it from the available and it will be moved to the selected values. It will be moved to the selected value. Similarly, again, you are selecting the multiple option. You can select multiple option. Control shift, and then you can select multiple options. Control and select it. Control, select it. So I'll show you that options during the one requirement. So basically you are selecting here 3 options here. Select these 3 options and click on the add button. Click on the add button and move. Then what will happen? It will remove from the available values and then it will be moved to the selected values. Now, in case if you wanted to remove anything, for example, you wanted to remove the groceries, select this and click on the remove button. So it will remove from the selected values and it will be added to the available values. It will be added to the available values. So basically, like this, you will be doing it. Like this, you will be selecting the multiple values. Now here, 3 options are selected. Now here, 3 options are selected. What are those options are selected? Reading books. Reading books, I have selected 3 options, multiple options I have selected here. Outdoor activities and then shopping. These are the 3 options which I have selected. Now, when these 3 options are selected, now how these values are stored in the database? In the database, I have an object. In the object, one of the field is called hobbies. Now, there is a field is available. One of the field is available hobbies, right? This is the hobbies. Now, how these values are stored in the database? In the table. This is assume that table is account table. This is a or employee table. Let's take it as an employee table. In this employee table, one of the field is called hobbies. Now, how the data will be stored? The data will be stored as it is, whatever we have selected the values. Same thing will it be stored here or it will be stored in different way. Now, if you store like this in the database, if you store like this in the database, what will happen? That means in single line, you are storing the data. So in this line, whatever the occupation is there. So for example, this is the occupation which is there. Now you are storing the data in this much. Whatever the rest of things are there, rest of things are pasted, right? So that's the reason the records in the database, it will store as, first one, it will store it as reading books, and it will be separated as a semicolon. It will be separated as a semicolon and then the data gets stored into the database.com. So like this, the data will be stored. It will be in a single line, but all the values are separated with the semicolon. All the values are separated with the semicolon. Now hobbies are, though you are selecting here line by line, but whenever it stores into the database, it will store in a single line, but with the separated with the semicolon. It will separate it with the semicolon. Selecting with the multiple option, users will see line by line, but when it goes to the database will have a different options here. We have a different options are available. Right, so like this, the multi-pick list values are stored. So selected elements will get resides in the column field by appending the element with the help of separated, which is the option is called semicolon. So separated option is semicolon. It will be stored as a single line. Now example, chess semicolon, movie semicolon, music semicolon, reading books semicolon, right? So like this, it will be stored. Now this is the option for the pick list multi-select. Now the next one is properties. What are the properties that are available inside the multi-pick list field? Field label, field name, description, help text, these are common. And values, similar to the pick list, it is also having a use global pick list, or else you enter the values manually. Similar to the pick list. Similar to the pick list, it has a global pick list. Choose the global pick list or enter the values manually. Enter the values manually. Now next one is a checkbox. Checkbox is, this is also same, arrange the elements which is in alphabetic order. Similar to the pick list, here also we have a checkbox called arrange the fields in the alphabetic order. The next one is if you wanted to go for a default pick list value. If you want to go for a default pick list values, check this checkbox. Check this checkbox. And the next one is a restricted. Restrict the pick list values based on the value set. By default, it is a true. Salesforce is default, it is going to say that it is a true. Now, if based on the requirement, if you say that, okay, this is not, it should not be a true, then what you can do is unselect it. But Salesforce is whenever you are creating the field, pick list field or a multi-pick list field, by default, Salesforce is showing that as a default option as a true. Default option as a true. Now for the multi-pick list, like it has a so many values are available. If you have a 20 fields, 20 values are available. If you have a 20 values are available, then here it will be shown as a, here it is shown as a one option here, it will show the scroll bar. Scroll bar option is visible. Now this scroll bar, you need to choose it. For example, if you have a 20, if you have a 20, now if you have a 20, the box cannot be increased. The box cannot be increased. Basically, by default, it is going to add a scroll bar there. By default, it is going to add a scroll bar. Similarly, this side also, when you select a multiple pick list values, when you select a multiple option, selected values are, if it is multiple, selected values are multiple, then what will happen is, it is going to display the scroll bar. It is going to display the scroll bar. And this scroll bar, when you scroll down, it is going to display the multiple options. Like this, it is going to show. Now you decided how big is the box you wanted. How big is the box that you needed? Do you want a 10 fields to be displayed here? Then next add the scroll bar. Or do you want only 3 fields needs to be displayed here, smaller box, and rest all should be displayed in the scroll bar. So you decided how many lines you wanted. You decide how many lines you wanted. So basically, number of visible lines. How many lines you wanted to display? How many lines you wanted to display? Number of visible lines. How many lines you wanted to display? Now the next one is a required checkbox. Required checkbox. What is the check? Whether it is required or not. And after that, we have a common property which is called as a auto add to custom report type, and the next one is a default value. Right, so this is also common property. Now these are the options which are available for the multi-pick list. Any questions? For the multi-pick list, any questions? Any questions? Multi-pick list. Okay, so let's move on. Next one is a geolocation. Next one is a geolocation data type. Now, geolocation is, this is in day-to-day, we see this data type everywhere. Now, when you go for a, for example, you wanted to go for some place. You wanted to go for some place. Now, let's go for, now I'm searching in the Google, let's say that Shilparama. Shilparamam is the place I wanted to go. When I wanted to go the Shilparamam, here I see one option is called direction. One option is called direction, right? So what is this? Basically, how it is trying to identify the direction here, how the Google is doing the directions here. What is the, like Shilparamam can be there in different places, might be there in high-tech city, might be there in different place, might be there in so many places it might be there. But how Google is trying to identify this? How Google is trying to identify and how it is redirecting us to go this direction, and this is the place you need to go, right? So it is just on the map. This is just a map. But in the map, they are suggesting us where is the end point and where is the start point. Now, how they are doing it, this, what is the algorithm which is there behind of this? What is the algorithm which is there behind of this? Okay, let's see that. So basically, this is what are the locations you are choosing it, which is called as a geographical location. Geographical location. So wherever you wanted to go, you can search that. But that means what is the start point, you mention it, and what is the end point, you mention it, and where you wanted to go, just mention the starting point and the end point. Whatever the starting point and end point is called is a geographic location. Now the data type allow you to store the geographical coordinate of the specified location. Now specified location. What is the specified location? It says the data type. We have a data type which is called geolocation. The data type which is called geolocation. So it stores the geographical coordinates, right? It basically stores the location details. Location details. How it is going to store the location details? It will not store the Shilparamam high-tech city main road. No, it will not store like this. It will not store like this. Basically, what it does is it will store in a different format. It stores something called as a latitude and longitude. Latitude and longitude. Latitude and longitude. These are the different values. These are the different fields. Basically, these are the different fields. Like every place has a certain latitude and longitude. Every place, it has a latitude or a longitude. Now, even just beside the Shilparamam also, within the 1 kilometer, within the 1 centimeter, the latitude, longitude gets changed. If the Shilparamam latitude, longitude is something like this, like 1 dot, 0 dot, some numbers will be there. Like this, it will be latitude, and longitude, something values will be there here, right? Now, if you step just 1 meter or a 1 kilometer or 1 meter, whatever you step out from the Shilparamam, ultimately your latitude, longitude will keep on changing here. It will be changed to the 26 or a 28. It will be changed to the something 30, right? So everything will have a latitude and longitude. Every location has a latitude and longitude. Now, for example, let's go here and search Shilparamam latitude and longitude. Shilparamam latitude and longitude. So what it is giving here? It is mini Shilparamam. There is also mini Shilparamam has 17.3803832 north and 78.55 66 east. Now actual Shilparamam Vedika, right? So it has a mini Shilparam, it has this Shilparam, but there is not much difference between these two. But you see the differences here after 17. It says that 3832 here, it says here 4518. 4518. So every location has a latitude and a longitude. Based on the latitude, longitude only, it is going to identify the geolocation. Even Google also does the same thing. Even Google Map also does the same thing. Wherever you wanted to find the location, it has to have a latitude and longitude. If the location does not have a latitude and longitude, you cannot find in the map. You cannot find in the map. You cannot find in the map. So everything should have a latitude and longitude. Similarly, in the Salesforce also, we have a something data type called geolocation, which will store the latitude and longitude details, values. So it has a property similar to the field label, field name common, description help text is a common. Then you have a new field, new property is called latitude and longitude display notation. Latitude and longitude display notation. Now here, the next one is a required checkbox. Do you want this checkbox to be required? And then similarly, we have a common property, auto add to the custom report type. And the next one is default values. These are the common properties. Any questions on the geolocation? No. Now let's move on. Next data type is called phone data type. Next data type is called phone data type. So we have a phone data type. So this data type is allow us to store the contact number, phone number, mobile number of the people. And what are the properties here? Properties are common properties, field label, field name, description, help text, required checkbox, and then auto add custom report and the default value. These are the common properties which are available in the phone data type, right? So these are the different data type. Now let me go back to the Salesforce. Now, when you are searching here Google Map, see on the you are actually on the Z map. But what is your address says here, latitude and longitude it says, right? You are actually doing the mapping. You have written here the address, but in the tab, like on the tab, what it is saying that it is giving you the latitude, longitude of the Shilparama. So that's how the Google Map works. Okay, so let's go back to the object manager. Now let me click on one object. Now click on object manager here. In the object manager, let's go to the account. In the account, go to the fields and relationship, and then click on this new button. When you click on new button, we can see all the data types. Now, whatever on top data types are there, these data types I'm not going to cover right now. I'm not going to cover right now. These data types are different. Need to understand the scenario, then we will go for these data types. Now, apart from this, you have you have a check boxes, right? You have check boxes. Right. So you have a check boxes. Now, these data types we have covered. So basically, we have understood what is the checkbox. Checkbox, we got it. Currency, we have discussed. Date we have discussed. Date time, we have discussed. Email, we have discussed. Geolocation, we have discussed. Number data type, we have discussed. Percentage data type, we have discussed. Phone data type, we have discussed. Picklist data type, we have discussed. Picklist multi-select data type, we have discussed. Text data type, we have discussed. Text area, we have discussed it. Text area long, we have discussed it. Text area rich, we have discussed. Text encrypted, we have discussed. And time also we have discussed. And then finally, URL also we have discussed. So all these data types we have covered. All these data types we have covered. Now, next we will see one scenario. Let's go ahead and see the scenario. So use case is create a custom object with the name position. I need to create a object with the position to store all the open positions, jobs, information in the object and add the below fields to the object. So basically the requirement is now in the company, whenever the position is open, now instead of going the verbally, instead of everybody discussing or doing the discussions, what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a record in the position object. Whenever there is any position open in the company, the first thing is that I need to add a record in the object called position object. I need to add a record in the position object. Now, what are the fields required for this? Now, I need a position name. Position name is basically whenever we are creating an object, by default, there is a one field that gets created. Whenever we create a position object, Salesforce is creating the 5 fields, right? So one is the name. Now, if you select a name or auto number, you can choose this. If you select a name, it will be the position name. Then ID, it will be automatically created. And the created date automatically created. Last modified date automatically created. Last modified by already automatically created, and the owner is also automatically created. So these are the 5 fields which creates automatically. These are the 5 fields which creates automatically. Now name field is automatically created whenever I create a object, I can choose the type as a name. So if I choose a type as a name, then it will create it as a position name. So here position name is a standard field. Position name is a standard field. Now the next one is a location. Location is basically the position can be open in same location or a multiple location. So assume that position is opening in the multiple location and it is opening in the Bangalore, right? In Hyderabad, one position is opening in these 2 locations. Now, what should be the data type of location?
Picklist.
Text.
Which type of pick list? Now here the location is, I need to select a location. This position is open in multiple places. Position is open in multiple places. Multi-pick list. It has to be multi-pick list. It is not a geolocation. Now geolocation you cannot give. Basically, I have to give an option there. Now I cannot give them to enter the latitude and longitude. I know Bangalore and Hyderabad. Basically it's a location. The cities. I'm not giving the location there. The interview place. I'm not giving the interview place. Basically, I'm specifying the city name here. So city names are the location names here. So city names, I can select multiple city names. That means I can select a multi-pick list, which is a mandatory. Number of vacations. That means how many vacancies are there? How many vacancies? How many positions are open? Which data type it is? Number. It is let's keep it as a mandatory field. Location is mandatory for this and number is also mandatory. Number of vacancies also mandatory. Now the next one is a status. So status, I'll keep it as a pick list. Now what is this position status? Position status has a different concept. Now, whenever the position is open, whenever it is open, we will say that position is just open. Now, whenever the position started recruiting the members, then we will say in progress. Now, all of a sudden, company organization wide, they said that just hold on for this position, no more recruitment for this position. Then what we will say? We will say on hold. Right? So after that, after on hold, then we have again reopened the position. Then we can say that reopen the position. Then finally, we close the position. We have recruited, we got 5 members, we have recruited them. Now the position is closed. So these are the different options which are available on the position status. Whenever these options are available, these options at a time, I can select only one value. Only one value I can select. So that's the reason I'm going for a pick list here. By default, I'm going to say here, new is the default. New is the default. And the next one is a open date. When are we getting open this particular position? What should be the data type for this? Date. It should be date. And the next one is milestone date. What is the milestone date? That means milestone date is basically, it's not a milestone date. Sorry, it's a, this is incorrect one. Let's take it as a minimum pay. Minimum pay. So what should be the data type for the minimum pay? Currency. Right. So currency is the minimum pay. Now, milestone date is basically how long do you want to keep this position open? How long this position to be keep open? For example, I say that this position should be open date is today, 19/05 and 2023. I opened this date. I wanted to keep this open till end of the next month. That means 19/06, 19/06/2023. So here end date is nothing but a milestone date. End date is nothing but a milestone date. That means what is your end date? How long you wanted to keep this position open? How long do you want to keep this open? Now in this milestone, if you get a 10 members or a 12 members, or if you get a 5 members, also go for it and take it. So this is a milestone is basically, it's a end date. So we are going to use the data type as a date. And the next one is currency. Well, let's allow this as a maximum 7 digits. And next one is a minimum budget. Minimum budget. What is the minimum salary? What is the minimum salary that we are going to offer? Maximum pay is, maximum budget is nothing but what is the maximum salary that we are going to pay for it. So minimum pay is how much we are going to start the salary and how far we can go for a salary. Now I have started with 10 lakhs. Okay, salary is started for the freshers 10 lakhs. Now I can go to the maximum of 30 lakhs. So minimum pay is going to say 10 lakhs and maximum budget is going to say, let's say that 50 lakhs. How much is the maximum budget? 50 lakhs. Right, so that is the maximum budget. Now the next one is HR email ID. What should be the data type for the HR email ID? I wanted to collect who is the person that is tracking the position. Who is the person accountable for this position? Right, for every position, there is a one HR will be dedicated. Now, whatever the activities happening related to that position, this is the only the HR will be contacted. So that is HR email ID. Right, so this has to be email and let's keep it as a mandatory. Now HR contact number. What should be the HR contact number? HR contact number is a phone. HR contact number is a phone. Now let's keep this as not mandatory. Then passport required. Whatever the recruitment is happening, the position, for the position, we need a passport from the candidate because that position is something like where we might need to travel international, or it might be within the Bangalore to Hyderabad or Hyderabad to Bangalore. They might have to travel. So for that, they need a passport required. So for this, what is the data type? They required a passport. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to check whether this candidate has passport or not. Whether this candidate has a passport or not. Checkbox. Yes. So we are going to collect the checkbox. Now travel required. Whether this person is ready to travel or not. Whether this person is ready to travel or not. What is the data type it should be? Checkbox. Now the next one is position description. Position description. Now here the position description is where I need to enter about the position. Like if we are looking for the freshers or we are looking for the 5 years experience member and couple of JavaScript, couple of data I need to add, roles and responsibility I need to add. Right, so what could be the data type here? I need to add the entire description. It might be the longer description.
Text area rich.
Text area or text area long. So it needs text area long because job description will have a lot of information. Now next one is the skills required. Now what are the skills that are required? How I'm looking for it? Like the person has to enter the skills. So if you go for a Salesforce skills are like they might need a Apex, Lightning or a LWC. If the position is open for the Java, they need to have a good command on the JavaScript, right? So why it is multi-picklist? Position can be open any position. It can be open for any position. Now you cannot restrict the picklist like these many options only. I can give the option. Let's give the option to enter there, right? The user has to enter or the HR needs to enter there, not to select it. If I select it, what will happen? For example, the person is having only, I have written in the multi-pick list or a pick list, I have written here. Let's say that I have written here few options. I'll say here HTML, JavaScript, HTML, JavaScript, I have written. Now, candidate says that I also have CSS. I also have a CSS. I also have another Angular JS, right? I also have a Python. So where you are going to write that? We are restricting the skills here. We should not restrict the skills here because at that moment you cannot go to the multi-pick list, you cannot add it, right? It's not a fair when the candidate is sitting in front of me. I cannot go to the modify, customize the coding or those are things I cannot do it. So simply we can go for a text area. Simply we can go for a text area. Because let's give the option to enter whatever the users are saying. Let's enter the values there. Now these are the options. These are the options. Now let's go ahead and create it. Let's create the custom object first. Let's create the custom object. Now custom object is position object. I need to create it. Position object, I need to create it. So let's go to the object. Click on a create a custom object. Now here label name is position and the plural name is positions. Right, and then here automatically it is taking the position name. Data type is a text, right? So here I'm choosing the text here. Allow reports, allow activities, track the field history, allow characters, and then I'll say in deployment, allow search, add notes and attachment. Let's click on a new custom tab, right? So I'm going to create a tab also for this. So click on a save button. Once I click on a save button, it will be redirected to the tabs. Now here the positions are opening in the company. Now let's use it as a default on for everybody. Click on a next. Now next one is a custom app. Custom have include the tab for everyone. Include the tab for everyone by default. Let's include it. And the next one is, that's it. Now we have it. Object is created position. Post fix is underscore C. Custom is enabled true. Enable report is true. Track activity is equal to true. Track a field history equal to true. And singular label is a position. Plural label is a positions. Deployment status is in development, and the help setting is standard Salesforce.com help window. These are the details that are created. And the fields, what are the fields that are created? Created date, last modified, owner, position name. Position name. Now here, ID you cannot see. ID you cannot see. ID you cannot see because ID is not visible here in the object manager. So these are the fields which are created automatically. So the first step is completed. Creating a object is completed. Now creating a fields, we will do it tomorrow. We will do it tomorrow. Fine. So if you are able to do it, go ahead and do it. This. So this is the assignment also, take it as an assignment, go ahead and create all these fields. We will be also creating tomorrow in our call, but if you want to create it, go ahead and create it. So we will create these fields tomorrow because we are out of time right now. Skill required is text area. Is everybody noted? Okay. Now also we have a trial head. So let me give you the trial head. These are the trial head links. Tomorrow we'll have a more homework because we have not yet completed the creating a fields. So we will do it creating the fields and I'll give you the rest of the homework. Today practice created those fields and also practice in the trial head.